I'm Janine Schultz, FM News, and we're sitting here with Lisa Hannigan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's so good to see you. You haven't been here in about 3 years.
Ages, yeah. Well, I'd say less than that. I'd say a couple, but
it feels
too long.
It feels like that. That's how long we've waited. But no, and you have a new album out called Passenger.
Yep.
You know, they always say, you know, you have your entire life to make your first album, and then of course your second album is done in a much more compressed time, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that, or was the second album easier to make than the first?
I actually found it easier. It was written in a shorter space of time, but that almost helped, I think, just because the first one, I just didn't feel quite as confident in my songwriting. And this time I feel like I really got into a bit of a swing with it, you know, and I kind of felt a bit more comfortable at it and didn't feel quite so self-conscious.
And I guess, because they also talk, you know, there's always, you know, the dreaded sophomore slump, and there's always this big deal about the second album. And I have personally, just from listening to the album, I think it's stronger, actually.
Thanks.
Than
I do as well.
So I was gonna say, I mean, did you feel any of that pressure going into, because the first one did so well, it got nominated for the Mercury Prize.
Only for myself. I think I just wanted to make a better record for myself. So that was the kind of the pressure that came with it. But I didn't feel any pressure exteriorly. Just made up a word there. From the outside.
But songwriters can do that. That's, you know, how many words did Bob Dylan make up or make rhyme that didn't really rhyme anyway? And I guess, you know, Ray LaMontagne duets with you on this album, and I do think, I mean, because I think we all started to know you based on how your voice works with someone else, because you were with Damien, and just kind of that intertwining. And I think it's for me, it's always, you know, great to hear you.
I love singing harmonies. I really do. It's such a treat, and there wasn't quite as many harmonies on the last record, and I really wanted to have more on this record, and then from that I kind of thought I'd be like a proper duet that isn't just people singing harmonies with each other, but actually a song that's two people singing to each other. And so then I thought, you know, who's on my list of, like, you know, ridiculous people to ask to sing. So it was Ray, and then, you know, probably Tony Bennett. But I asked Ray first, and Ray said yes, which was amazing. I was really blown away that he had said yes, and it was just such a treat to hear him sing. You know, sitting beside me in the sofa in the studio. I just sort of handed him the words and said, you know, go have a go there. And just the moment he started to sing, I was thinking, oh, this was a great idea.
and it's always disheartening, because now even more with technology, like you hear about people duetting or guesting on albums, and it's like they sent a file through email and they sent it back, and they're not really in the room together. So it's great to hear that you were actually together. And
yeah, well, it was really lucky. I mean, that would usually be the case just purely because of logistics, but we happened to have a day of overdubs in London, and I think Ray had a gig that night in London, but had a gig the night before, so he didn't have to sound check or anything. So it was a ridiculously serendipitous happening, really. And so he just came in the afternoon and did his vocals, and then I did my harmonies on top, and yeah, it was great.
And you got Joe Henry to produce the album, and I guess how did that come about, and what do you think he brought to the record? Again,
that was a great bit of luck, really, on my part, that he stuck his head into a gig that I was doing. It was a Kate McGarrigle tribute concert, so he'd popped his head in to pay respects to Kate. He had a gig himself next door, and he just happened to catch my song, which was lucky, and sent a lovely email to my manager about, you know, if he could be of assistance at any time, just that he was there. And he said such a beautifully worded email, as he always does. And we were sort of intrigued, and then I went to meet him, not sort of expecting, you know, that's the way you don't know what's going to happen. But the moment I met him, he was such an incredible musician and person, you know, and he straight away I knew he was the guy.
And I guess, you know, I mean, what did he bring, do you think, to the album that wouldn't have been there if he wasn't the guy? Well,
I mean, his whole style of recording was really interesting, and I had never done it that way before. That we just played the record live. Really, I mean, we had spent time, myself and the band, had spent time arranging the songs and getting them to a certain, a shape that we were sort of happy with, and then but didn't really know how we were going to actually put them down. And we only had a week, so it was all quite sort of nerve-wracking thinking how it was going to happen. But we went in, and himself, Joe, and his engineer Ryan, just kind of set us all up in a circle and just kind of said, well, here we are. So you just play the songs and we'll record them. Which sounds, fairly straightforward, but it's not usually how people do it. And that was extraordinarily freeing, because then automatically you're capturing the room. You're not sort of trying to get it exactly right. You're trying to create a moment in time almost. And he was very sort of, he was great at sort of just inspiring everybody, I think, although I hate that word, but inspiring everyone to just really trying to bring the song to life and make and not try to do it perfectly, and because we were all playing knowing that Joe was sitting there across the glass with his headphones on listening to us, it was like we were all trying to make Joe feel something, and I think that the sort of the specificness of that, I could have made another word up there, I'm not sure, but the singularity of that, of it just playing for Joe, actually I think really created a sort of an edginess to us all, it really worked.
And I guess did that experience remind you at all about recording because I know that was kind of done. That was done in really a house, kind of on and off, really, whenever you...
Yeah, but that took years. That took years to make. And we would have... I mean, some of the songs would have been done fairly live, but not really. It was a very different experience. No, that was 2 years, I think it took, at least.
Would you ever spend that much time on an album again?
No! I have absolutely no patience for anything. And I found, and I also, I don't have very good ears. The way, I mean, some of the boys in the band would, could happily sit listening to a snare sound for a week and thinking, oh, now we've got it. And I just could not be hooped. I really couldn't. Sounds like a snare to me. I'm just listening for the performance, really. So, that's a perfectly valid way of making a record. But I feel for myself, I just, patience is not a virtue that I have been blessed with. So I prefer to kind of just give myself a week or 2 weeks and really try and capture within that, because you could spend years, you really could, trying to get it right, and I just what doesn't suit me.
And I guess just finally, in this time period between CISO and now, you've really, I don't want to say grown in to being the front woman, because I think you were a very powerful front woman to begin with, but you're definitely talking more and interacting more. And I guess how has that been, or how has that process been to become more comfortable and to actually kind of not just be this person on stage, do your stuff and go? It's
been great. It's taken me a while to really. I mean, I was much younger then, so it's just literally been sort of growing up and getting more confident and more comfortable with what I'm doing. And it's a bit weird being up there singing, having all these people looking at you. So just
with cameras in front of their faces.
It takes a while. It takes a while to get used to. But I love to play, and that's what's come to the fore. I think now. I think I'm more able to just enjoy what I'm doing, because it's a great thing to do.
I'm Janine Schultz with FM News, and we've been sitting here with Lisa Hannigan. Her album is called Passenger, and you can buy it at all the usual places. You can go to lisahannigan.ie for more info.